Hey there, friend. Nick here. I've been thinking a lot lately about my 40-year-old self. That guy who thought he had everything figured out, who was climbing the ladder, checking boxes, doing all the right things, working 60-hour weeks, chasing promotions, building a career, being responsible. And if I could go back and sit down with him, with me over a beer, man, I'd have some things to say. Not in a mean way. I wouldn't beat him up. That guy was doing his best. He was scared. He was trying to provide. He was doing what he thought he was supposed to do, but he was also missing so much. So damn much. I'm 60 now, and I've got 20 years of hindsight. 20 years of mistakes, lessons, losses, and clarity. And if I could give that 40-year-old version of me some advice, the real stuff, not the greeting card wisdom, this is what I'd say. Some of this might sting if you're in your 40s listening to this. Some of it might make you uncomfortable. But I wish someone had told me. I really do. It would have saved me a lot of heartache and regret. So grab your coffee. Get comfortable. Let's talk about what I wish I'd known 20 years ago. First thing I'd tell my 40-year-old self, your kids are not going to be kids much longer. And you're missing it. At 40, my son was 12 and my daughter was 9. Still kids, still home, still needing me. Or at least, I thought they still had plenty of time to need me. I figured I'd be more present later. After this promotion, after we got the mortgage paid down, after things settled down at work. There was always an after. But here's what I didn't understand. Childhood doesn't wait for your schedule to clear up. It doesn't pause while you're busy. It happens whether you're paying attention or not. My son's last few years at home, from about 14 to 18, I was barely there. Not physically, I lived in the same house. But mentally, emotionally, I was at work. Always thinking about the next thing, the next crisis, the next meeting. He had a basketball game every Tuesday night his junior year. I made it to maybe 3 out of the whole season. And each time I missed one, I told myself, next week, I'll make the next one. But there's no next one when the season ends. There's no do-over when they graduate. There's no second chance when they move out. He's 32 now, has his own kid, and our relationship is fine. It's okay. But it's not what it could have been. There's a distance there, a gap that formed during those years when I was too busy building my career to build a relationship with my son. And I can't get those years back. I can't go to those Tuesday night games now. I can't have those conversations we didn't have. That time is gone. My daughter, she tried harder to get my attention. She'd come to my home office while I was working, because I was always working, and ask me to help with homework or just talk. And I'd say, not now, sweetie. Daddy's busy. In a little bit. But in a little bit usually became tomorrow, which became I forgot. She stopped asking around age 14, just stopped, and I didn't even notice right away. By the time I did, the damage was done. She'd learned that I wasn't available. That work came first, that she came second. We've repaired that relationship since. It took work, honest conversations, apologies, time. But I'll never get those years back. Those years when she was becoming who she is. When she needed a dad who was present, not just present in the same house. If I could tell my 40-year-old self anything, it would be this. Stop. Just stop. Stop chasing the promotion. Stop staying late at the office. Stop checking your email at the dinner table. Stop missing games and recitals and bedtime stories because you're building a future. You're not building a future. You're missing the present. And your kids are only kids once. That promotion you're chasing, you'll get it. And it won't matter nearly as much as you think it will. That crisis at work that seems so urgent, It'll be forgotten in 6 months, but missing your kid's childhood? That you'll remember. That you'll regret. Here's what I wish someone had told me. Your kids don't need you to be successful. They need you to be there. They don't need a bigger house or fancier vacations. They need you to show up, to listen, to be present. And present doesn't mean physically in the room while you're thinking about work. It means actually being there, paying attention, asking questions, caring about their world as much as you care about your work. I thought I was doing the right thing, working hard, providing, being responsible. And those things do matter, but not at the expense of your relationship with your kids. Because one day they'll be gone. They'll move out. They'll have their own lives. And you'll sit in a house that's too quiet and realize you missed it. You were so busy working for their future that you missed their childhood. Don't do what I did. Don't wait for after. After is too late. The time is now, right now, while they're still home, while they still want you around, while you still have the chance. Second thing I'd tell my 40-year-old self, your body is keeping score and the bill is coming due. At 40, I felt pretty much indestructible. Sure, I was a little out of shape. Okay, more than a little. I'd put on weight since my 20s, my pants were tighter, I got winded going upstairs, but I was still relatively young, still strong enough, still functional. I figured I'd deal with it later, after things settled down, after work got less crazy. I'd join a gym, start eating better, get in shape. There was always an after. But your body doesn't wait for after either. It's recording everything, every fast food lunch, every skipped workout, every night of terrible sleep, every year of stress and sitting at a desk and not taking care of yourself. And around 50, 55, the bill comes due. For me, it was my doctor sitting me down at 56 and saying, "Nick, you're pre-diabetic. Your blood pressure is too high. Your cholesterol is too high. You're on track for a heart attack in the next 10 years if you don't change things." Now, that was my wake-up call, and it scared the hell out of me. But here's the thing. I could have prevented it, all of it. If I'd just taken care of myself in my 40s, if I'd made my health a priority instead of something I'd get to later. My buddy Tom, he's 2 years younger than me. At 42, he had a minor heart attack. Minor. A warning shot. His doctor told him the same thing mine told me years later. Change or die. Tom changed. Started walking every day. Changed his diet. Lost 50 pounds. Quit smoking. He's 58 now and healthier than he was at 40. But you know what he told me? He said, "Nick, I'm lucky I got that warning. A lot of guys don't. A lot of guys just drop dead one day because they thought they had more time." He's right. We always think we have more time. If I could tell my 40-year-old self something about health, it would be this. Start now. Not Monday. Not after this work project. Not when things settle down. Now. Walk, just walk. 30 minutes a day. That's it. You don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment. Just put on shoes and walk. Eat real food, not perfect food, not kale smoothies and quinoa bowls, just real food, more vegetables, less fast food, smaller portions. It's not complicated. Sleep. For God's sake, sleep. Stop staying up until midnight working or watching TV. Your body needs rest. Your brain needs rest. 7 hours. 8, if you can get it. And go to the doctor. Get your annual checkup. Get your blood work done. Stop being one of those guys who avoids the doctor because you're scared of what they might find. Finding it early is better than finding it late, or not finding it at all until it's too late. I know, at 40, you think you have time. You think your body will bounce back. You think you're still young enough that it doesn't matter yet. But 40 is when it starts to matter. 40 is when the choices you make today determine how you feel at 60. And trust me, you want to feel good at 60. You want to be able to play with your grandkids. You want to be able to travel. You want to be able to enjoy your life instead of managing a dozen health conditions and taking a dozen pills every day. The habits you build now, good or bad, will follow you for the rest of your life. And changing them gets harder as you get older. Much harder. So do it now. Make your health a priority. Not after you get that promotion. Not after the kids leave. Not after retirement. Now. Because your body is keeping score. And you want to be ahead when the final tally comes. Third thing I'd tell my 40-year-old self, stop thinking money will fix everything. It won't. At 40, I was obsessed with money. Not in a greedy way, in a scared way. I was terrified we wouldn't have enough, terrified I couldn't provide, terrified of financial disaster lurking around every corner. So I worked more, took every opportunity for overtime, said yes to every extra responsibility that came with a raise, climbed and climbed and climbed, and you know what? We did fine. More than fine. We had enough. We always had enough. But I didn't know that then. I couldn't see it. I was too scared. I thought, if I just make a little more, I'll feel secure. If we just have a little more in savings, I'll be able to relax. But the goalpost kept moving. When we hit one savings goal, I'd set another. When I got a raise, suddenly our expenses seemed to match it. We were always chasing enough, but never reaching it. Here's what I didn't understand at 40. Financial security isn't a number. It's a feeling. And if you don't feel secure with what you have, you won't feel secure with more either. I have a friend, David, who's wealthy. Actually wealthy. Millionaire wealthy. And he's one of the most anxious people I know. Always worried about losing it. Always stressed about investments. Always working to make more. He has more money than he could spend in 2 lifetimes, and he's miserable. Because he tied his peace of mind to his bank account, and there's no amount of money that can give you peace if you don't have it inside. Meanwhile, my neighbor Joe, he's a retired postal worker. Pension and Social Security. Not rich by any means. Lives modestly. But he's the happiest guy I know. Genuinely content. Because he figured out what enough meant for him, and he stopped chasing more. If I could tell my 40-year-old self something about money, it would be this: you have enough. Right now, you have enough. Not enough to be stupid, not enough to stop being responsible, but enough to stop being scared, enough to stop sacrificing everything else in pursuit of more. Yes, save for retirement. Yes, have an emergency fund. Yes, be smart with money, but don't make it your God. Don't sacrifice your health, your marriage, your relationship with your kids, your enjoyment of life for a number in a bank account. Because here's the truth, nobody on their deathbed wishes they'd made more money. Nobody. They wish they'd spent more time with people they loved, wish they'd taken that trip, wish they'd worried less and lived more. The memories you make with your kids? Those don't cost that much. Going to the park, playing catch in the backyard, reading bedtime stories, having dinner together, free, or close to it. But I missed so many of those moments because I was working, making more money. Money we didn't even really need, money that didn't make us any happier. At 40, I thought financial security would give me peace. At 60, I know that peace comes from living according to your values, from spending time on what matters, from building relationships instead of bank accounts. Don't get me wrong. Being broke is stressful. Poverty is real. I'm not saying money doesn't matter. I'm saying, past a certain point, More money doesn't equal more happiness. It just equals more money. Figure out what enough is for you. Really figure it out. Write it down. And when you get there, stop. Stop chasing. Stop sacrificing. Start living. Because the life you're working so hard to afford, you're missing it while you're at work. Hey, quick pause. If what I'm sharing is hitting home, if you're nodding along or maybe feeling a little uncomfortable because this is hitting close to home, do me a favor and hit that like button. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to save you from making the same mistakes I made. And when you like this video, it helps YouTube share it with other people who need to hear this too. Maybe your buddy who's working himself to death. Maybe your brother who never sees his kids. Maybe someone who needs Nick in their life. So hit that like. 2 seconds. Helps more than you know. All right, let's keep going. Fourth thing I'd tell my 40-year-old self. Your marriage is dying, and you don't even know it. At 40, Sarah and I had been married about 10 years, and I thought we were fine. We didn't fight much. We functioned well as a household team. We were raising kids together. We were fine. Except we weren't. We were roommates, co-parents, business partners running a household. But we weren't connected. Not really. Not the way we used to be. I was so focused on work and providing that I forgot to be a husband. I forgot to date my wife. I forgot that marriage isn't something you achieve and then you're done. It's something you have to maintain, something you have to feed. We didn't have conversations anymore, not real ones. We talked about schedules and bills and whose turn it was to pick up the kids, but we didn't talk about dreams or fears or how we were really doing. We didn't laugh together much. We barely touched except functionally. I didn't see it happening. It was so gradual, like a house that needs painting. You don't notice the paint fading until one day you look up and realize it looks terrible. Around the time I turned 50, Sarah sat me down and said, "Nick, we need to talk." Those 5 words that make every husband's blood run cold. She didn't say she was leaving. She didn't say she was unhappy. She just said, "We're not okay. We haven't been okay for a long time. And if we don't do something about it, we're not going to make it." That woke me up. Finally. Too late. Almost, but not quite. We started going to counseling. Both of us. Together. It was hard. Uncomfortable. We had to talk about things we'd been avoiding for years. We had to admit things we didn't want to admit. But it saved our marriage. Because we both decided it was worth saving. We both decided to do the work. Here's what I learned. Marriage doesn't die from one big thing. It dies from 1,000 small neglects. From choosing work over date night. From being on your phone instead of talking. From going to bed angry. From taking each other for granted. It dies from assuming it'll always be there, so you don't have to tend it. If I could tell my 40-year-old self something about marriage, it would be this: date your wife. Seriously. Every week. Every single week. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be expensive. But it has to happen. Talk to her. Ask her about her life, her thoughts, her feelings, and actually listen. Not while checking your phone, not while thinking about work. Actually listen. Touch her. Hold her hand. Hug her. Kiss her like you mean it, not just a peck on the way out the door. Physical connection matters. A lot. Go to bed at the same time. I know you want to stay up working or watching TV, but go to bed with your wife. That time before sleep, in the dark, talking quietly, that's when real conversations happen. Say thank you. For everything. For making dinner. For doing laundry. For managing the kids' schedules. For working. For being there. Don't assume she knows you appreciate her. Tell her. And apologize. When you screw up. And you will apologize. Not a defensive, "I'm sorry you feel that way," non-apology. A real, "I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'll do better apology. Your marriage is not a given. It's not guaranteed. It requires effort and attention and intention, just like your career, just like your kids, just like anything else that matters. The difference is, you can get a new job. You can't get a new history with someone. You can't get back 20 years of building a life together. I almost lost Sarah because I took her for granted, because I thought she'd always be there, so I didn't have to try, because I put everything else ahead of my marriage and assumed it would survive on neglect. I got lucky. We made it. But a lot of marriages don't. A lot of guys wake up at 50 or 55 or 60 and their wife is gone. Not because of infidelity. Not because of abuse. Just because they stopped being married and started being roommates. And eventually she got tired of it. Don't be that guy. Don't wait until your marriage is in crisis to pay attention to it. Tend it now. Feed it now. Choose it now. Because at 60, I can tell you, the career you're neglecting your marriage for, it doesn't love you back. It won't be there when you're old. It won't hold your hand in the hospital. But your wife will, if you don't lose her first. Fifth thing I'd tell my 40-year-old self, your pride is costing you everything that matters and you don't even see it. At 40, I was stubborn, proud. I had to be right. I had to win arguments. I had to prove my point. I thought that's what strength looked like, standing your ground, never backing down, never admitting you were wrong. I was an idiot. My son and I didn't talk for 3 years because of my pride. 3 years, over an argument about his life choices. He wanted to pursue music. I thought he should get a real job. We fought. Both said things we shouldn't have. Both dug in, and I couldn't let it go. I couldn't call him. I couldn't text first. I couldn't admit that maybe I was wrong, because that felt like losing, like backing down, like admitting weakness. So we didn't talk. For 3 years. I missed 3 years of his life. 3 years of my grandson growing up. 3 birthdays. 3 Christmases. 3 years I'll never get back. All because of pride. My wife finally forced us into the same room, literally cornered us at Christmas and said, "You're both idiots. Figure it out or stay here until you do." We talked. I apologized. Really apologized. Said I was wrong. I let my pride get in the way of our relationship. I'm sorry. And you know what happened? The world didn't end. I didn't die. It didn't make me weak. It made me free. My son said, "Thanks, Dad. I'm sorry, too. I was being defensive." And just like that, it was over. 3 years of pain and distance, over in one conversation. Because I finally swallowed my pride. Here's what I wish I'd known at 40. Being right is overrated. Being connected is everything. You can be right and alone. You can win every argument and lose every relationship. You can stand your ground and watch everyone walk away. Is that really winning? My pride damaged my marriage too. Sarah would try to talk to me about something I'd done that hurt her, something that wasn't working. And I'd get defensive, argumentative. I'd explain why she was wrong or why she was overreacting or why it wasn't actually a problem. I couldn't just say, "You're right. I'm sorry. I'll do better." Because that felt like losing. Like admitting failure. Like being weak. But you know what's actually weak? Valuing your ego more than your relationship. Choosing to be right over being happy. Dying on every hill instead of picking your battles. If I could tell my 40-year-old self something about pride, it would be this. Let it go. Just let it go. You don't have to win every argument. You don't have to prove every point. You don't have to be right all the time. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit you were wrong, apologize, back down. Choose the relationship over your ego. Your kids don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be real, to admit mistakes, to show them that being wrong isn't the end of the world, that apologizing is strength, not weakness. Your wife doesn't need you to always be right. She needs you to listen, to care more about her feelings than about winning the argument, to be a partner, not an opponent. Pride is expensive. It costs you relationships. It costs you peace. It costs you years of your life that you spend being right instead of being happy. And at 60, looking back, I can tell you, I don't remember most of the arguments I won. I don't feel good about the times I stood my ground and refused to budge. But I remember the 3 years I didn't talk to my son. I remember the fights with Sarah that could have been avoided if I'd just said, "You're right. I'm sorry." I remember the relationships I damaged because I cared more about being right than being kind. Swallow your pride. Apologize first. Admit when you're wrong. Choose peace over victory. Choose relationship over ego. Because at the end of your life, nobody's going to remember all the times you were right. They're going to remember whether you were there, whether you loved them, whether you chose them over your pride. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Don't let your pride cost you the people who matter most. Last thing I'd tell my 40-year-old self, and this is the big one. This is your life. Right now. This is it. At 40, I was living in the future, always thinking about when I get that promotion, when we pay off the house, when the kids are older, when I retire, when. I thought real life was something that started later, after I'd achieved certain things, after I'd checked all the boxes, after I'd earned it somehow. But here's the truth. This is your life. Today. Right now. Not when you retire. Not when things settle down. Not when you finally have time. Now. Your 40s are your life. Your kids being home is your life. Your health, good or bad, is your life. Your marriage, strong or struggling, is your life. This isn't the waiting room. This isn't the preview. This is it. And if you spend your entire life waiting for the real life to start, you'll wake up at 60 and realize you missed it. You were so busy preparing for the future that you forgot to live in the present. I did that. I missed so much. Not because I had to, because I thought I had time, because I thought the important stuff could wait. But it can't. It doesn't. Life is happening now, while you're at work, while you're checking your phone, while you're too busy or too tired or too stressed. Your kids are growing up now. Your body is aging now. Your marriage is either thriving or withering now. Your life is passing by now. If I could go back and shake my 40-year-old self and make him understand one thing, it would be this. Stop waiting. Stop postponing. Stop saying later. Take the vacation. Play with your kids. Go on the date. Call your parents. Take care of your health. Fix your marriage. Apologize to your son. Do it now. Not when things settle down, because things don't settle down. Life is always going to be busy and complicated and messy. That's what life is. You don't get a do-over. You don't get to go back and relive your 40s once you figure everything out in your 60s. This is your one shot. Before I close this out, if you've stuck with me through all of this, if something I said resonated or made you think or maybe even made you uncomfortable in a good way, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be here every week, talking about life, sharing what I've learned, being honest about the mistakes I've made so hopefully you don't have to make them too. Think of me as that older friend who tells you the truth. Even when it's hard to hear, especially when it's hard to hear. hit that subscribe button. Let's take this journey together. All right, let's wrap this up. So that's what I'd tell my 40-year-old self. Your kids won't be kids much longer. Be there now. Your health isn't invincible. Take care of it now. Money isn't the answer. Figure out what enough means. Your marriage needs attention. Give it now. Your pride is costing you. Let it go. And this is your life. Live it now. Not later. Not when things settle down. Not after you achieve the next goal. Now. I can't go back. I can't relive my 40s with the wisdom I have now. But maybe you can. Maybe if you're in your 40s listening to this, you can make different choices than I did. Better choices. And if you're older, like me, maybe you can forgive your 40-year-old self for not knowing what you know now. Maybe you can let go of some of that regret. We all did our best with what we knew at the time. But from here forward, we know better. So let's do better. Choose presence over productivity. Choose relationship over achievement. Choose now over later, because later isn't guaranteed. But now is here, right now. This moment, this life. Don't miss it. Until next time, this is Nick. Take care of yourself out there. Call your kids. Hug your wife. Forgive someone. Live your life. Talk to you soon, friend.